What's up YouTube, Jeff back again, and today, Samsung fans, it's finally here. We have the Samsung One UI 2.0 based on Android 10 beta for the Samsung Galaxy S10 series, and I've installed the update as you guys can see right there. Got this earlier on my T-Mobile Galaxy S10, and I've been running it today, and I want to give you an overview, some impressions. Of course, this is not going to be a full detailed review of everything, but a review of the main features and things like that. I can also tell you a little bit about the stability and other things that I've experienced. So let's get right into it. The first big change here, of course, some of you know if you've used Android 10 on your Pixel devices, that there are new gestures within Android 10, and you'll find that Samsung has included these. If you go into settings and into the navigation bar, you'll see the full screen gestures. There's now two options. You can either do swipe from the bottom, which was the default from before, to go back and then to get your recent apps, or you can use basically the Google method, which is what's on the Pixels. You'll swipe from the sides and the bottom. So basically, you'll swipe from the side if you want to go back. You'll swipe from the bottom if you want to go home. And you can also change the back gesture sensitivity, which is something I really like in case, if you have a really thick case on, sometimes it's difficult to use them. Now, another thing that's really great about this is you can also use the swipe across gesture here to go between apps. So you can navigate between your apps just by doing that. Now, in using the gestures, I will say the following thing. It can be a little difficult to do the swipe up gesture to get to the recents for this because you have to go up and then pause. And sometimes it doesn't work because the other thing you can activate by doing that is you can also activate the Google Assistant by swiping up from the corner. So sometimes the recent apps doesn't really get activated, which is what you want, and instead it brings up Google Assistant. Otherwise, some other issues that people have mentioned with the Google version, which is that sometimes you can activate a 3-dot or hamburger menu if you're in certain apps, and that can certainly be annoying. But you do have the option to go back to the Samsung gestures if you prefer those. I'm glad that Samsung left them in. And of course, if you want to go back to the 3-button nav, that's right there for you too. So Samsung, as usual, gives you a lot of options. And of course, you can still change the button order. As usual, Samsung comes through with all the options that you need. The next thing that is new in the beta is a redesigned device care menu. It's a lot more streamlined, as you guys will see right here. You can actually use it now to delete duplicate photos and things like that from within storage. You've got a lot of really nice options that will allow you to delete apps that are taking up space. You've also got a brand new battery menu that shows you a lot of useful information. Obviously, you can still do things like change the power mode. You can do wireless power share enablement, and you can also change your app power management, how they're using things in the background. But if you go into the battery usage, it's now quite a bit different. You're going to see the last 7 days of usage. It gives you a little more information and breaks things down in a little more easily to digest manner. Obviously, this is not going to be a revolutionary feature, but being able to sort of scroll through the daily usage, that's certainly going to be nice for me because as I like to monitor battery life as a YouTuber, as someone who reviews phones, this new battery menu and the device care menu as a whole definitely lets you get a better overall look. Of course, you can still optimize things just by pressing go like you would on the old Samsung optimization menu. But this gives you a nice more control over your device, and it does look pretty nice. They've streamlined things quite a bit here. Another big change in the beta is the way that one-handed mode is enabled. I know a lot of people like to use one-handed mode, especially on the plus-size models of the Samsung devices. You can now enable this using either a gesture, which is a swipe down in the center of the bottom edge, or you can use the button. But if you are using the Google gestures, you have to use the gesture version. And it is a little annoying. This thing can be hard to enable. I've tried using it quite a bit, but it can be difficult. As you can see here, if you just swipe down, it can be a little bit difficult to enable. See how there, it finally sort of triggered it, and I got the one-handed mode. I have to say, of all the gestures that they have on the new One UI beta, this has been the most frustrating one to me. I don't really use one-handed mode that much, but if I did, I would say that this particular gesture would be pretty annoying and might even consider, I might even consider stop using one-handed mode until they fix this. The next thing is a brand new camera UI. Some people are going to hate this, I'm sure. Samsung keeps taking away the number of modes that are above the shutter button. They've streamlined it. You now have live focus, photo, video, live focus video, and then more. So you don't have as many modes right above the shutter. To some people, that's probably going to be annoying because you're just used scrolling through there. People get really upset about camera changes. I know how upset they were about Pro mode sort of being taken away from this main menu before. And that's something that you see that's a big change here in the new UI. Now, other things haven't changed that much, just some icons and general usability. And if you go into settings, for the most part, things have not really changed here in the settings either. The main change, again, is that UI above the shutter key. This one is just a semantic change, but night mode has been renamed to dark mode to bring that in line with Google's title in Android 10. Of course, it still turns your settings dark. You've got your quick settings dark at the top. You'll notice that media is now the name that replaces your Samsung Things devices at the top as well. If you do have a lighter wallpaper, it will darken your wallpaper on the home screen a little bit too if you do turn on dark mode. But again, not really a big change in terms of how it operates. It's going to enable that in various apps, of course, like the Samsung browser. If you do use the Samsung Internet browser, you're still going to get night mode in there and things like that. And that's pretty much it overall. This isn't a huge update in terms of new features and things like that, or that are user-facing features. There's a lot of privacy, permission-based stuff. You're going to get some more annoying pop-ups asking you if you want to allow an app to use your location just when you're in the app or all the time. That's native to Android 10. So I think that's probably going to annoy some people when they first get the update because they're not used to it. But this is a part of Google's push to sort of streamline things and give you more privacy and control of your location settings. Last thing I want to mention is stability and battery life. Of course, I've only ran this for half of a cycle so far, but the battery life's been decent. Again, I've only used it for half a day, so I'm not going to comment entirely. If you want to follow me on Twitter below, I'll give some updates on battery life after I run it for a few days. But the animations, the overall smoothness, and the smoothness of the gestures, whether you like the gestures or not, is of course a matter of taste. But the actual smoothness of the animations, opening apps and things like that, seem very smooth. Of course, you can reduce the animations if you want to make them a bit faster. But there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of jank or anything, considering that this is a beta release. I've been very impressed with the stability, and so far with all the apps that I use, YouTube, Twitter, all the social media apps, Netflix, I haven't noticed any compatibility issues. Of course, as I continue using it, I'll also update over on Twitter. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. This is my overview of the Samsung One UI 2.0 beta on the Galaxy S10. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification icon so I can make future videos like this. You guys can find me at dopetechdaily.site, also over on Twitter and Instagram at the links in the description. If you have any comments about the beta or you want to share your experience, feel free to drop it below. I'll be happy to engage with you guys, talk about it a little bit, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching.